All right, so this is, I'll just run it real quick. This is some code that I've got. Let's see, hit run. Let's see if it'll run, yeah. So I can't put this code on GitHub. I can't even put an app out, which is a long way from an app. So I can't do anything. So I can just talk about it because I'm just using it as an example of creating a Swift project to do something. And it's based upon GURPS level, GURPS edition 3, which is like a late 80s book. And I've talked about it before, but I'm just implementing the rules. Right now, I'm still just getting into character creation. So um, basically, I've got a whole bunch of advantages here for the characters, and I've got a whole bunch of skills for them in place. And I'm trying to do this with as many types as possible. So, like, if let's see if I pull up here's an appearance advantage, and an appearance can be either an advantage or a disadvantage, and so it's all based upon enums. So hideous would be like a disadvantage, very beautiful would be an advantage, and very handsome and very beautiful give like the same level. It's just one's for males, one's for females. Um, in this case, you have a min level and a max level. So all of these go based upon a class, and the class goes against a protocol, the base class. So some of them are different. So this one has a calculated property, which is a switch on that enum. So hideous is minus 20, but if you go down to something like very handsome or very beautiful, they're both 25. And I'm basically going off what they've got in the book. And the reason I'm just trying to implement the book is it forces me to do something. And that's number one. Number two, I can focus on trying to implement what someone has specified and just worry about the implementation of it. Skills, let's look at a skill here. So I don't know what skill this is. This is acrobatics. So once again, it falls off of a base class. The base class has a protocol that it is based upon. So I'm literally like I copy and paste out of the book to put the verbose description, which currently I don't print, but I do print like a description. And because of the way that I'm doing this with those classes, really the only thing that's important at this point for this is just how you initialize it. So once again, it uses enum. So you would say what the level is, whether it's physical or mental. If it's physical or mental, it determines which table it's going to roll against. And then in terms of difficulty, if it's easy, average, hard, or very hard. And in this case, acrobatics rolls off of the default DX minus 6. And I don't have to worry about plus 6 because all of them are always negative, so the underscore works for a minus. Likewise, armory or whatever. So then for particular people, and I'm just copying like these guys that I'm creating. Here I'm creating them in terms of a larger set, and it was like just put into this unit test over here. But so let's look at the unit test relative to the code. So right now there's four characters in the book that are like for your party and like the adventure that they have in that book. So the one guy, they spend a lot of time talking about, to teach you how to pick stuff. These other ones are just supplements. They're not as much explanation. But by the time I've got to this, having to implement everything that they do, I've got quite a few attributes, skills, and yada, yada, yada in place. So let's just look at this class. We're testing it here real quick. So initially, I'm putting in genders, heights, and weights, and the points. In reality, what I'm going to probably do is cut this down so that this could be specified and changed after the fact. And really, the points will be the only thing. But for now, that's it. And so, none of these things have any bearing on the points. So I can just say like check to make sure the points are 100, the unspent points are 100, and allocated. Nothing's allocated yet. As you pick up your strength, dexterity, intelligence, and health, those in the rule book 3 edition, they go up on the same scale. I think in the 4th edition they go up in a varied scale. So I started out with the 3rd rule book, so that's just the way it is. So if this goes up and base is 10, so if it goes up 2, that would be 20 points. We want to make sure that works out. They treat advantages and disadvantages as 2 different groups, and then they subdivide it further into mental and physical, or mental and social, and then even I guess there's mental and physical for advantages and disadvantages. I'm at this point, I'm just really caring about if it's what the skill points are. So here is like alertness. Alertness has the ability to have levels, whereas something like honesty it's kind of weird. It's a disadvantage, and it's considered a disadvantage because honesty would limit your freedom of choice when you're playing the game. You could not do dishonest things, which would be non-virtuous, but it also means that it limits your choice, so it's a disadvantage. Disadvantage gives you points back, whereas an advantage would take from your points pool. And in this case, it would take 5 points per level. So this would be level 3, it would be 15 points it would take. I should probably make that a plus. That's just a comment, right? So, all right. So with that said, let's run the unit test on this. So all of these guys in the lower level skills are here. So let me pull up some of that. I think some of that is actually cut out at the moment, but let's put in one. These, I've cut out a bunch of them. I put these in originally, but let's go ahead and while we're here, put one in. We'll see what the first one is. All right. See if we can get one in here. Let's do this. I took these out as I was playing around with some of the globals, and see if we can't put some of the globals back or get it in there. It might actually work. Yeah, so it's working. I'm not gonna dork with. Let's see what this one I think is going to be okay, because it's just saying that this would be somebody who has a DX of 12. So the base would be 12. The desired skill would be 16. It's on the average table. It's of the physical type. So that one's fine. Let's go one that's a little bit more complicated. Let's bypass all these. Let's go with this one. This is not really the style, the way I want to do this, but let's go ahead and leave him in there. See if he works still. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I don't, this is fine for a test. Here it's saying a knife 17 skill, knife has a difficulty, and then I'm adding them in. And here, like you would typically go off of your base could work off dexterity since it's physical. So I was like, sometimes I would have like DX there, but this is fine. If you're going up dx plus 2, that's 4 points, and the cost is 4. But let's go down to one that I know that I don't really like the style of. Got all these individual skills. Most of them were put in there for a couple of different types. That's like a long. Let's go down some. Knife. I'm looking for one where it has based upon a character, which I did differently later. And when I was doing those, I was like, let's just move it into doing it as the individual characters. Let's go way down here. Corwin, maybe this guy has. No. No. Alright, well, yeah, maybe we can put this guy in anyway. Just going to put another one in this thing. I need to go back over these and clean these up. Let's see what we've got here. So here's a dx of 12. We're working off of dx. This is the shield. 12 and 12 might be 0. No, it's 1. Let's look at that for a second. Yeah, 12 and it's a 1. Okay. Alright, so anyway, this doesn't really matter because there's this guy where all this is still in place. Here I don't really have the quirks, but let me show you how this would truly work. And also, you see I'm using it's not even in here, it's in a file. Let's go ahead and put this in. So let's say we're going to put a quirk, and we're going to put a description, and let's just do like so. And now we don't have to have this class around. So we're going to have 5 of them. You can see also need these quirks are just like they would give you some points back, but it's really, I think, for role playing. I've never played this game. The only thing I played was the In the Labyrinth, which is part of the fantasy trip, which I didn't even realize all of it when I was a kid. All right, so being illiterate is not really a skill, or not really a quirk. So let's add that guy as well. Doesn't have a level, and because in this world okay, we'll look at that in a second. Let's go. Let's look at that. Is it an advantage or a skill? How did I do it for Corwin? Say advantage illiteracy. It's an advantage. Alright, let's get rid of this. Let's move So in this world, people are typically illiterate. So having that shouldn't affect anything. So 35 should go to 35. 65. Let's see if that still works. Yeah, so the tests are still working, so that's good. Anyway, that's all it is. I'm just learning how to do this. So we've got, let's close all these things. So we've got for advantages, disadvantages, attributes, quirks, and skills. They're all in here. There is some problems where things that are half a point, it says hacked, really, I should say. Int floor is when you're going from the integer to the double, it's coming out as 1 point. Katrina's in there. So a second. It says test Robin skills. Should be really Katrina. Let's see how I copied stuff. But Katrina has, let's see, Katrina has the alcoholism stuff. Robin let's test Robin. Robin is the one with like alertness and that stuff. They've got Corwin is the 4th. Max the guard. Really, this shouldn't even be max the guard skills. It should be like base stuff. That's the first of the NPCs that they give you. All right, let's see if everything still works. And then what I was saying for those attributes, let's see if we can pull out these quirks now. This may fail. So the unit tests work, but when you actually run, that's because of that. And I know this is going to be die. So let's do it like this. Alright, so let's run that. Let's see what it's dumping here. So, oh, this is the wrong dump. Let's go to main. This has a nil, right? So that's like saying, pull up a nil. Has some stuff about cost, which I should cut out. Let's pull that out for a second. Character. Let's see where we've got her. This is an example of adjusting points. See that. Let's go to people, maybe. The cost equals, is a cost per? No. This is, these are those lookup tables I was talking about. Maybe this is not the most object-oriented, but it's like your base versus your desired skill level, and then it's switching back and forth. If it's mental, it's going to use this easy lookup versus, it's like an average, and these will go back and forth. This could probably be improved. Here we go. See if we cut out all that stuff. All right, so here, once again, he allocated 75, unspent 25, And that is because I probably don't currently look at the character and see if, when I do my cost, if I'm adjusting the points for that. Alright, let's look here for a second. Like I said, this is so at some point, let's see if there's a dump here. Yeah, so there's a dump. And I should probably dump the quirks. Yeah, I've got that in there. Let's look and see if that. We don't have a dump of the quirks. We'll put that in real quick. It's not going to return anything, so we're just going to do a print here. And let's see. We'll just print the quirk here. I don't even need to do that. I can just do this. Let's see what that works. Well, let's see if we do like this. One second, I'm trying to learn how to do it. Yeah, so that works. So we've got that in. Oh, that's in the test GURPS. Let's run let's see where that's coming from. So here you can, so character is in 2 targets. So that's another thing. Let me explain about this. Like I said, I'm learning Xcode as well. So here is the app, here is the test. So the app, this run script is where I'm running this lint tool that I've yada yada yada. These are the source files for it, right? So he has should have a main in here. Yeah, so there's main. But the GURPS test, he has these additional test files. He has this attributes, which is the global. He doesn't have the main. And I mentioned to a friend of mine at work, I was like, I don't put the main in here, and so I've got this attributes thing, which we just cut out the quirks. And what I also think is all of these things need to be cut out, because I didn't use this style like Freeman's, in terms of status, he's a freeman, or he's a lord, lesser lord, which is this variable. I just said, put in status like so. That would be an advantage. Phobias, likewise. I think maybe I can cut those out, but let's focus on making sure the points are in there. Not worry about this at the moment. So we've got the quirks, but we don't have the skills. So let's go back. We're dumping them. For a skill and skills list, skill dump. Let's set a breakpoint and see if this is where we're heading. We are. So let's set a breakpoint right here and see if this comes out. Okay, let's put it here. Let's debug this again. hitting any of our... Why are we not hitting that? Let's go to people. Do we add? Let's look at die for a second. I see. So we're adding the advantages and we're adding that, but we're not adding the actual skills. So let's put his skills in. So here's testing of him. Let's put his stuff in here real quick. Yeah, so this is kind of cool. We're doing stuff and testing first. That's kind of why I like it. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. One of the reasons why I kind of like doing this with Swift and the way that I'm doing this in particular is it's all like enums and struct based, right? In classes, it doesn't have any like strings in it for checking stuff. So let's now hit the debugger and let's see if we print out a skill. Yeah. So now we've got area knowledge. It's mental. It's easy. -4. It has a default of IQ -4. I think in this case we really don't care about that. If you've got it, that would only apply if you don't have it. And since you're dumping for a particular character, maybe you need to pass something in to say you're dumping this skill for a character, right? And you could say like false, and then you would not dump this particular one, which you would pass that false into here, and then you would filter it out. But it's saying, yeah, it has, in this case, the description matches the name. There's not much there. Once again, this is easy. So this, it's some of the stuff that I'm duping twice, and what the current level is. So maybe this is not the best style of the way to do it, but whatever. We can just delete this breakpoint. Delete this breakpoint and let it rip. Let this one, delete that one. Let's go back to those attributes. And we were looking for area knowledge. We should be able to remove that. Yeah, let's remove all this. I know I don't want that. Still runs. Broadsword. So this is what I'm saying here. Let's do this. Skill. This is a skill difficulty, skill defaults. So this is supposed to pick up other, okay. Skill defaults. And then this is maybe not the best style here, but yeah, it would be, we're in, this is short sword, so this is why this is kind of tedious. And then, oh, pardon me. Okay, just do this. Broadsword underscore 2, I think. No. Yeah, so all of this, I'm just going to say DX5. It's in a list, but I didn't like having to do that particular thing. So it's DX -5, R broadsword -2, and I've got a list, but I think I took out that from that combo thing. So I don't want to leave it in there. But let's really, I want to get some of these attributes, which I know I don't want. Let's take out all of this just to delete it and see what happens. Let's fix some of these. Alright, here we go. This is a phobia skill with a type and a severity. So the type, it's insects. And the severity is mild, I believe. Yeah. Once again, this is an attractiveness, and this is attractive appearance. Attractive. This is toughness, current level 1. This one has literate. Alright. This is skinny, which is just you have either skinny or not. Stubborn, either stubborn or you're not. Berserk may have a level, but just throw it in there. Alcoholic may just have, you're either alcoholic or you're not. I can't remember. Some of these times, these things are not updated. So let me do this. I don't understand. Clear all issues. And then it comes back. Okay. This is a core one. Which I said, like I said, I didn't do this style. Let's do this. On core one. Let's do it here. So any of the associated skills I don't have in yet. So that was the one where we saw where there was a little bit of a piece missing. So that was in people. And we were adding skills for core one. Thing I find odd about this Mac keyboard, it has all of the MacBook Pros, so all of the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros have the same size keyboard, and they both have these tiny arrow keys. The top and bottom arrow keys are hard to hit with my short finger. Just once again, let's do that. Well, we know we've got them the way that we want them. Kira, does people Kira? Oh, I haven't done Kira. So this was a bad move. Bad move. Also, this uses the append style, so let's not do this. Let's add. Let's add. So you have an. Oh, it's not even that. It's add advantages. Add advantage. I need to make this. So one of the reasons why I changed it, it was a list, and so it was a list. You could just append to it, but I want to make that a set, and I also want to, like when I'm adding them, adding a skill, I have to go and like create the skill, and then do a little bit of saying when you're putting the skill in, you have to know about the character because that determines your cost, right, for that particular thing. So, and I want to have the ability to add and delete them. So that's why I came up with that, and now I no longer append it. But I don't have anything to say this is now a private. You don't, you wouldn't need, you don't want them to append or delete the list in general. So this is attractiveness, appearance, and it will be beautiful. And that's why you can, because that's a female. Kira dot add advantage charisma. Delete that. Okay, and this one is in this case being literate is an advantage, so it would cost you points. So it's a lesser lord 3. This is a status, I think. Status. Lesser lord. This is bad temper. There's either have it or you don't. There's no level. Impulsiveness, same way. That's just impulsive. Jealousy. Either have it or you don't. It doesn't have a level, I don't think. Stubborn. Let's see what that does now. This is another NPC, which I haven't added tests for, but this, I'll just go ahead and do this. Fix it up. Add advantage. Status. Then of the status, you have a status option. And say Baron. Alright. Come back. Another NPC. They've got a whole bunch of NPCs. This is appearance. So I basically just said, let's go with every one that they've created, and we know what they've got, just to test it. So status. This is a landed lord. I think a landed lord means that they're almost like a duke, close to being a duke or something. Beautiful. Appearance. And so I want to do all of these. I'm not going to do it right here while I'm sharing, but all of these I want to do away with, so I don't have to have that global thing. And if I do all of this, these will be done away with. These I might have to keep around because this is how I'm getting that offset. In other words, if it says like the base skill is a DX -4, it has, or broadsword, which is not up here, you would say like broadsword or intelligence, but if you remember, I took out the broadsword, so it's really now it's just attributes. I probably need to put that back in, and then the -4, and you can get like the cost or the offset based upon it. And all of these things, which are like one level or variable level or levels with where they have an actual name, like if you have a single weak enemy or single above average enemy or multiple weak enemies, it's these things play a role in some of the advantages cost. Likewise, wealth is a disadvantage. Alright, so that's anyway. Let me put this up. So I've got it in a repo, but I don't have it in a public repo. It's a shame. I'm lazy, just push it. But anyway, that's that. I just want to show you that I'm doing that and see how we'll put that up for what I'm doing today.